minutes. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good evening and welcome to episode 20 of Great Race Plays right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I'm a proud host, Howard Kravitz, and my co-host with balloons is Pete Visco. We're so excited, Pete, tonight. We don't need a countdown. We're going to ready to rock and roll. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button in the bottom right-hand side of the corner of YouTube. Hit the notification bell on the top right of YouTube and smash that like button, that thumbs up button below the video player. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. And I just want to mention to our wonderful Great Race Plays viewers and listeners, while we really do appreciate you listening on our platforms for Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, etc., we're very much a visual show. We like to watch a lot of replays and show you many visual aspects of the show. So you're best off probably watching the show on YouTube, either live or as a replay. But of course, if you cannot, we do appreciate you listening on our listening platforms. You can also look into our Power Picks tip sheet, which comes out on Saturdays. Look below the video player for information how you sign up through Patreon. And every week, especially for you SoCal viewers and listeners, we do have analysis, more analysis than even the show, of our late pick four that we discuss here of Santa Anita. And you also get 2 or 3 fantastic tracks on Saturday, and they're great sequences as well, as the tip sheet comes out Saturday morning. So please look into our Power Picks tip sheet. It's very inexpensive and very profitable. Go to our website, hhhracingpodcast.com. Click on the Power Picks tip sheet on the top, and then go to the standard Power Picks drop down. Pete, I hope you're doing well. We just finished discussing earlier tonight on a live show the 150th running of the Preakness. Of course, the SoCal talented runner for Mr. McCarthy journalism is back at 8-5. We'll probably go off lower than that. Will he win the 150th running of the Preakness, Pete?
We shall see. You got to watch why don't you watch our previous show to find out? I think he has a good shot. I know this is our West Coast folks. Hopefully they are rooting for their West Coast brethren in journalism. And I think he definitely has a good shot, but is not unbeatable.
I think he's an extremely strong win candidate. I also think he's a bad win bet at, I don't know, even money. I think he'll be. I'm very interested in Clever again. But again, if you want to hear our opinions on the Preakness, you can watch the show that we just finished, which was Picks and Ponies episode 408, I believe. Or even better, Pete, we had a longer 40-minute preview with yourself, myself, Noah Maher, who's the host of Pacific Horse Players and the host of Bet and Boozin', Kyle Roscoe. We discussed the Preakness in detail. Go to our YouTube channel and check that show out. It's very noticeable because it has like a gold sort of background. And it has, Pete, almost 3,000 views
it's doing
already
very well
in the first 48 hours. Let's talk about the Hollywood meet here at the Great Race Place, Santa Anita. We're sort of in the dog days of the meet. There's about 1 month left. Next week's a big week, actually, in Santa Anita, as they have California Cup Day. They have 5 state-bred stake races on Saturday. Of course, we cover the late pick fours on Sunday. So let's get right into it, Pete, for the pick four this Sunday at Santa Anita. Take that bankroll, right, Pete, that you make from
all those winnings.
Preakness. That's right, and roll it right into Santa Anita on Sunday. We should also mention, let me just do this first, Pete, because it is important. We are filming here on Thursday night, but let me bring us both on screen. We're filming Thursday night. Tomorrow, Friday, there is a big $2 pick six carryover. I think it's 91,000 at Santa Anita. So if you watch this the next 12 hours or so, let's take a look, a quick promotion at the excellent $2, old-fashioned $2 base bet pick six that they have at Santa Anita, with possible carryovers like this one tomorrow.
Attention horse players. There's a carryover for Santa Anita's Pick 6. Now with a $2 minimum. Get racing information and analysis at santaanita.com.
Yeah, very exciting. I don't know if I'm going to play it or not for any negative reasons. I just been very busy doing things for Pimlico and whatnot, but we'll see. It's the General. I'm not sure we've seen you in the chat. What's up, General? Journalism a good bet on top, or is journalism a good bet on top? Um, in horizontals, Pete, for me, yes. Straight win bet within the race, no. That's my feeling.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think if you really like journalism, you can get a little creative, and you can put journalism on top in some big cold exactas or Dutch exactas or tries or supers. So you can get creative if you like, especially if you like a couple prices. Like I know I do. I like the 9 Gosker as we talked about. If you can get that horse on the board, even if journalism wins, then maybe you can get a price in those verticals.
I agree. Let's go ahead and late pick 4 on Sunday, though, Pete. Let's take a look at it
Do it.
right now. It starts in race 7 at the Great Race Place, 4 p.m. local. That's 7 p.m. Eastern. Allowance optional 20 claimers, 6 furlongs. This is for Calbreds. It's a field of 9. We do not have morning lines ever on the show because they come out on Fridays, so we have to do the old speculation. Tough call here. I thought, boy, I don't really know who's going to be the favorite. This is maybe Disobey, maybe the one Lord Tripping. I'm not really sure. Disobey is the 8. Let's see where we're going to go here in this race. I thought this sequence in general was a little bit tricky, actually, Pete. As I go to the
Agree.
banners that I need, I'm going to go 183. You're going 451. Well, there you go. You've got the 4 and the 5. I don't even have the 4 and the 5 in my top 3. Devil Among Us for Mr. Visco, Mr. O'Neill, and Maldonado riding. What do you like about the Devil to open up the late before?
Yeah, when you bring the PPs there up on the screen, the thing that I do like is you see if you ignore the last race for a second and you look at the ones prior at the end of 24 and into 25, we're at this level. So you see that optional claiming not N1X, state bred. You see that, and this horse was really good at that level. A couple close losses, then a win, but you see the buyers were progressively getting better and better, and it did carry into 2025, which I like. And then they tried. They said, you know what the hell? This horse is in good form. Let's put him in an open company optional claiming 50 N1X, and did the same thing. Went to the lead, and then I don't know if something went wrong to lose by that much, or they just sort of wrapped the horse up figuring, hey, we're not getting it today. But I think now you're just getting the horse back to the level I think has a little bit of a pace advantage, to where I think if he gets on the lead at this level against these horses, I think he'll be tough to beat. And he can sit just off. I mean, barely. If another horse decides to go, I think he could sit just off. But I think at this level on the pace, he's a tough competitor.
You brought up a great point. When I see a lose by 20, there's a lot of ways to lose by 20. And people are like, Howard, what a stupid thing to say. Not really. Because if they just wrap up, Pete, they could have lost by 10, right? I mean, the number is a little bit misleading. I obviously have not seen that replay. The 9 is the horse that we're talking about. So let's just see, Pete. I wouldn't say this is wrapping up. I mean, he's just completely stopped. So to me, that's not really, I mean, he did wrap up, but he wrapped up pretty late in the race. So,
He did, but
that's an in-betweener for me. I'm not really sure what to make of
I think he
of
wrapped
that.
up once he knew he was
He did.
done. But also, don't forget, now we're going up to optional claiming 50, off a little bit
Yeah.
of a layoff, and you're going 6.5. Whereas, and got a little bit of pressure on the pace. Now you're
Yeah.
cutting back to the 6. You're second off the layoff, and you're at a much more a level that this horse likes much more. So all those combination of factors, I think, brings him back into where I think he can run his best race, which is good enough to beat this field.
This is a very polarizing horse. Let's take a look at the pace figs, as we love Timeform US, and they have the 4 on top, but with a fast pace, so maybe being pressured by the 7 and the 8. I think what I'm about to say, Pete, without sounding arrogant or biased, is the whole key to Devil Among Us. And I want to bring this up to everyone. Yes, he's probably dropping down to the level that he should be at, Pete. That was probably too much, going to 50. However, everyone see these ends right here, these ends that are next to that. That means he was not in for the claim. So that means he was protected. He's not protected in this race. He's actually in for the 20. That is a major concern for me, Pete. That basically tells you they're giving up on the horse. Now, if he runs an 80 691. He's going to blow this field away. I don't like the fact he quit that badly, and I do not like that he's unprotected in for the 20 claimers. Does that mean anything to you, or am I exaggerating a situation?
No, I think that's something to consider. To me, in this case, he's done enough to where you can be like, hey, you know what? This horse has given us a lot. We can let him go and we can make a little bit extra money. We win this race and make the money off the claim.
Sure.
We've done well by this horse. That's okay to me. But I agree with you that that's you know me, I love data points and everything's a data point. And that's definitely one you would put in the con. If you were doing a pro and con, that's definitely you would put in the con side. But again, I don't think it's not enough to sway me off the horse.
Okay.
Is more to the point.
Well, we'll find out. You could be absolutely right. I could be wrong. To me, it's a big deal. The purse is, if they win, they get 36,000 approximately on the win end with the purse plus the 20,000. They win 56. They'd be very happy to get 55,000.
That's a third of his lifetime. Yeah, it's a third of
Yeah.
lifetime earnings, basically.
No doubt
one
about
race.
it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the one here, Pete. I'm gonna go with Lord Tripping. Now, I know what people are gonna think, and it's a very fair question. Howard, isn't this a turf horse? I don't think we know yet. Clearly, he's run very well lately on turf, and earlier in his career, he didn't run well on dirt, right? But he did finish third in his debut and ran perfectly fine. And also early in his career, Pete, when he was on turf, he only did 60 buyers. So my thought is he's just a much better animal now.
He's
It's
better
not
now,
really
yeah.
the turf. Plus, he's been working lights out on the dirt. So I don't think Ryan Hansen is an idiot. I'm sure Michelle, you wouldn't thinks her husband is not an idiot either. So I'm not sure that he's really better on turf. I just think he's a much better horse right now. I'm going to go with Lord Tripping to literally trip out in this race. I don't think he has to have the lead. I actually envision him sitting off your 4 Devil Among Us and just being a better animal at this point. I also would consider the 8 horse. You might need to help me with the numbers, Pete, because they're not. I think the 8's Disobey.
The 8 is Disobey. Yep.
Disobey is the speed of the speed, and my thought is he actually is better than Devil Among Us today or on Sunday, and those two might hook up, and Lord Tripping will sit right in behind and win. That's my theory. But Disobey has some fast numbers and is outside of Devil Among Us. I do like that. I've got the 3 to maybe clunk up in the money here underneath Carol's comic. Why don't you quickly talk about the 5 Super Null, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, that's nothing too crazy. I think this is another one where if you look 3 back, you were at this level in distance and got a win there, then stepped up a bit and even cut back. And then the last one was claiming 25 and ran pretty well as the favorite. Nothing spectacular, but ran a good race to run second, just kind of sort of flattened out. Knapp's been on fire at the meet. You can't argue with that. And I do think to what you said, if those other horses do press the 4, then you're going to be looking for a horse who can come off. And I think this is one of the horses in the race that could close and actually pass horses.
Yeah, he's very honest. I have him as a B, Pete. I think the 5 can
Yeah.
also win that race. Fun, interesting race 7 to start the late pick 4 Sunday at Santa Anita. Let's go to race 8. I'm going 8, 6, 10 in race 8, and you're going 8, 7, 6. So we agree, young man, with race 8. Main claiming 50, big field of 12. The 12 Cano for the win is and also eligible. We don't have morning lines. I've got to believe our top choice, the number 8 Nation for McCarthy and Rispoli, who will be riding back from Maryland. I mean, it's quite amazing, Pete, that these guys ride all the way across the country to ride main claimers. I mean, it's their job, right? That's just what they do.
That's what they do.
And Nation, I think, is going to be tough here. Although he's hard to trust, we do have the number 8 Nation on top.
Yeah, there's a combination of things here. This is mostly a lot of it is a pace play. And this horse I thought was the fastest horse. And if you look at time form, it has it with a pretty much an uncontested lead. Now you're adding blinkers to that. So I'm guessing we're going to even see, we potentially can even see more of a lead here. We're getting back on turf where this horse was pretty good. We get Rispoli, who's obviously been on fire here. There's just a lot to like. It's McCarthy, Rispoli, the combo in maiden claiming turf routes, 4 for 12 wins, 10 for 12 in the money when they partner up at this level. So I like just a big jockey upgrade. You're going from Carmona, no knock against him, but to the red hot Rispoli, McCarthy. You could be coming off, you could be coming off a successful day on Saturday for those guys, and I think this horse, just from a pace, just has a pace advantage. You see, the works are fine. There's not a lot of complicated stuff to it. I just think he looks best on paper.
Boy, Pete, do I dislike 5-year-old maidens. I hate
Oh, you don't
5-year-old
like it, yeah,
maidens.
yeah. But at least he's not a
It,
5-year-old maiden who's run 20 times or 15
that's
times.
true.
At least
I'm
it's only 5.
I'm chuckling because the horse named Magistrate, who's a 5-year-old maiden who won today for me at
Yeah.
for Adelphi. But I just,
Hey, that one got it eventually. Eventually they get one,
eventually
hopefully.
Nation costs 385, Pete. I mean, how tough a game is this? I mean, cost
It's crazy.
385 is now in for 50 and has only won a tenth of what they paid for in the Fasig-Ticton August sale. A Constitution colt at the time. He's a gelding now out of a Henry the Navigator mare. I mean, this horse is supposed to be something special. Never really panned out. Just the drop down, Pete. It's that simple. The drop
Yeah,
down is
that's it.
huge
Yep.
here. Blinkers on, I don't think will hurt. Although I'm curious to know why the blinkers come on, but I think this is just a dead send for Espoli and for Eclipse, and just hope to win. And someone will buy the horse, and Eclipse will move on. They've got plenty of others in the barn that are capable. Tapit Dynasty is the 10. I've got a little underneath. Again, I like drop downs. Maybe the horse can close. You've got the number 7 in second.
By the way, can I
Crazy
say something about the 10? Because
Cavalier.
my note with the 10, and not just for the 10, I always have the hardest time judging the maiden special weight drops that haven't been running well at maiden special weight. I don't know how you think about it, but those are the toughest for me to evaluate as to whether the drop is just going to completely move them forward, or if they're going to sort of hold their not so great form. I had the toughest time because there were a couple in this race that fit that.
It's situational for me, but it's amazing, Pete. And I don't have a mathematical statistic on this, but boy, doesn't it seem these
It
horses
feels
always
like it
jump
always
up when they
happens.
drop
Yep,
down?
it
I think
does.
I'll have to talk to Noah Maher about this. I don't know the horse psychology, but it sort of feels like when they run and they realize other horses around them aren't going as fast, that they gain a little confidence. Like,
You get
oh, I can actually,
confidence. Yeah.
it makes sense from a human standpoint. Yeah, I can actually run and compete with these horses, and they try harder. I think there's something to that, because there's just too many horses, Pete, that drop down and look so much better just because of the drop,
Yeah.
even though they don't run faster, right? It's just so
It's crazy. Yeah.
it matters to me. We'll see. I think the 6 is also a threat. Crazy Cavalier. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah. I was trying to get to Crazy Cavalier. I hate when there's. By the way, I
Oh,
know
sorry, that's the
DRF is our
7. Sorry,
DRF is
Crazy
our
Cavalier is the 7. The 6 is Ghost Coast. You can tell
Ghost
either one.
Coast, right?
Either one you want to
We
talk
need to
about.
talk to DRF and say just put the PP numbers. Timeform does it. Just put them on there. It's not going to kill you if you put them
Yeah,
on
that'd be
there,
nice.
and something changes. But yeah, Ghost Coast. I'll start with Ghost Coast since we both have that one. This is a weird one. Favored in 4 straight. This is one of those 10, 5-year-old maiden, like you said, which we don't love. 10th
No.
race. Now we're going into the 11th race. Was favored in the last 4, so has been burning some money, but the time form figures and the buyer figures have also been decreasing in the last few. Now we're cutting back. So the only thing I was looking at, though, we're cutting back and we're going second off a pretty long layoff. And the first one off the layoff wasn't bad. It was a decent run, still lost by 6, but second off should just be sharper. Again, I like our top horse a lot more than this one. So it's a big drop off for me from the top choice down to who I have a lone A in this one. So it's a big drop for me going down to the others. And then Crazy Cavalier likes to run second a lot. So it's a hard one to leave off your top 3
No doubt about that.
because the horse just loves to run. I mean, 2 back did run 4th, but the thing I don't like, the only 2 bad races this horse has really won were routing. So that's the question here, where if just doesn't like to route, then do you just toss this horse, and maybe this horse takes some money because it's always in second, and that's a reason to toss it. So even though I had the horse in there, maybe that's a good way to look at it negatively if this horse is a lower price.
It just seems like you keep coming back to Nation in this race. I
mean, Lation.
I think it's gonna be 8-5 and tough to beat, Pete. It just feels that
But
way.
I would bet him at 8. I mean, I would put a win bet on at 8-5. In all honesty, in this race, I think.
Okay, interesting. I think I might also actually. It just depends on my bankroll and gut feel.
Yeah,
Let's go
if
on
all
to
else
the
was, yeah, all else being equal, if I was like, which horse do I want to bet in this sequence, I could take less odds on that one and make a bigger bet on him.
Let's go to the next race. It's a 5-claimer, nickel claimer. Purse is 15,000 for 1 mile. This is restricted for your Northern California horses. You know what? These fields have gotten bigger and bigger and more competitive. So kudos to the racing office, Pete, for taking care of those Northern California horsemen. It was a big ordeal to even get them down to Southern California. I think it's actually worked out pretty well for them. They can run their horses. They've been fun races to watch, albeit not always very fast. But look,
But hey,
we
we've been
got
handicapping them across these 20 shows, and they're always good fields,
they
and
are.
they're competitive. And I think now that they've had a couple runs over a lot of them, they're even a
Yes,
little easier to handicap now.
totally agree. Apparently, we think this is relatively easy to handicap. I've got 8-9-2. You've got 9-2-3. I have a very strong opinion in this race, and this is one of these kind of races for me that either the number 8 Union Wave wins or it could be a lot of others in this race. There's not a lot of form to go. And I'm going to go first, Pete, actually, with
No, please do.
the number 8 Union Wave for Borosio and Anton Georgi. And this is purely a in-trainer switch, I trust situation. Most people know that watch the show. I'm a full-time high school math teacher, and Pete loves the numbers also. It's part of the reason why we love this game. So let me give some trainer stats on the number 8 Union Wave. First, let me go ahead and show the PPs, and we'll get into it. The obvious are two things. Number one, he was horrible last time. And number two, he's got plenty of races on the go back that would easily win this race. The trainer, Borosio, last 5 years, Pete, first off the claim, 31% on the win end. And then I broke it down to his last 12 first off the claim, and he's won 5 of his last 12
Nice.
first off the claim. This guy excels in this category. He's got tactical speed. I know he was horrible last time. I'm completely tossing that race out. There's a jockey switch to a guy that's there's nothing wrong with the Herrera, but Will Anton Jory's more veteran, probably a better jockey. I just think this horse breaks, goes to the top, and wins. He's dropping in for the well, he was in for 5 last time, but he's dropping to what he did last year. Now, if the horse can't run anymore, then obviously he's not going to win this race. But I think this is a claim for a purpose in a race that just frankly doesn't have a lot of talent in it. I'm just all about Union Wave here at, I don't know, maybe I'll get 3-1 because he was so bad last time. That's my gut feel. You don't have him anywhere, so you just don't think he can get back to that previous form. You could be right.
No, actually, this was one of those races where I was all over the place. I had
All
a
right.
bunch of horses in the mix, and he was one of them. But again, the last couple just I didn't love the last few, and I was like, well, maybe this horse is just going the wrong way. But hopefully, because he's 7 years old, and that gets a little scary when you're like, okay, if they go wrong at that age, you never know. But I do like the trainer switch angle, and that last one was so bad, but I like the trainer switch angle, and I think if he can move him up with his successes he's had, that's
Yeah.
your hope, basically.
No doubt. Jim Plyers brought up the purse situation. Look, yes, we'd like much better than a 15K purse. Obviously, there's been economic tough times right now in California. When I say take care of Jim, I just mean that they're writing races for these horses. But you're right. It would be nice if the purse was higher, but that's a whole other conversation for another day. Brother O'Brien, jokingly, Pete, on our private chat, there's a over 101 horse that won at Gulfstream, the sister track today, and you like to bet names. I don't think you had the name. Was it Quencio or something?
Quincio, yeah,
Do you have a brother O'Brien?
I do not. I have nothing related to O'Brien
Okay,
in my
no
life. So
Bryans. But you
yeah,
like this horse. You know what? For some similar reasons that I did with my horse.
yeah, it's not that different. Actually, was in that race and ran almost as crappy as your horse did. So, but at least came back and ran okay last time against a horse that I really liked, Country Chieftain.
Yeah.
If I'm saying that first name right. But I thought this same thing, not that different of an explanation. I thought has prior races
Up
that I think are
contrary
good.
Chieftain.
Contrary, yeah, I knew it wasn't country, but I couldn't
I'm gonna
get
start
the
calling you
word in
Kyle
my mind.
Roscoe in a minute, but anyway, go ahead.
I'm old, man. The mind isn't as sharp as it used to be. But
That's right. It looks like country, but there's an
it
extra
does.
R,
It does.
so I
The
knew that.
extra R was throwing me off,
Yeah.
but I couldn't think of what the word was, and I didn't feel like clicking on it. I figured it's not that important. They know who I'm
Right now,
talking
people at
about.
home like, just move on, guys. We don't
Just
give
shut
a
up.
damn what
Yeah.
All right, go
Sorry,
ahead.
everyone.
O'Brien,
Apologies.
go ahead.
Yeah, I think he had prior races that are good enough to beat this field, and now again, it's the same thing what you talked about with the claim. Mullins, he's second after the claim. He goes up to 30% wins, 63% in the money.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I do think there's potential for a fast pace in here, and this second time form late pace, so should be coming from the back and has shown can pass horses and actually has won races from off the pace. So if the pace does heat up, I think this is one that, especially now we're second in the Mullins barn, you get to switch to JJ, which is always nice.
That's what I was going
So
to mention.
I'll take that as well. Yeah.
For JJ to run to decide to ride in a 5,000 claimer means something. Like they don't look, he's got bigger fish to fry, but I think that's telling and very interesting. So you like the 9 in race 9. Let's go on to last race of the day, Sunday at the Great Race Place, Santa Anita, right here on Great Race Plays. And
This one was tough.
Late pick 4. This is a tough one. I'm going 193. And you're going 918.
Every time we
so
say
tough,
that, we
Pete,
get to
that without morning lines in a big field of maiden special weight 6.5 furlong flat on the turf with the rails out 10 feet. You and I are basically going
unbelievable
with the same top two. Purse is 60,000. There are 3 AEs. There's some interesting first-time starters in this race. There's a lot going on here, Pete. But again, you're going 918. I'm going 193. You're going to go with Sunglow. I'm guessing Sunglow for Sadler, and the aforementioned JJ Hernandez will be the favorite here, Pete. What do you like about this 3-year-old filly?
Yeah, and I hate to. My PP there froze on me for a second. Let me trying to.
Well, I got it on the screen.
There you go. Again, this looks like a pace play to me again, and we're going JJ and back-to-back races, which isn't always a bad thing. But I thought just from a pace standpoint, I didn't love many of the new shooters. A lot of times when you're looking at a race and you're like, man, I don't like the horses that have run. Let me try and grab a new shooter. I didn't love many of the new shooters here, but if you throw out the 13 from a time form standpoint, the 13 isn't in the field yet. So if the 13 gets in, maybe that changes. But if you throw out the 13, Sunglow has a pretty big pace advantage. There's nothing there, but if you do the pace ratings, click there, you can see the list, and at least you could see it from if you go down a bit. No, right down, up. Yeah, there it is. So if you throw that out, you're talking about a 110 down to a 98 if you get rid of the 13. So I just thought he could get loose. He was loose on the lead in both starts since he came to the U.S. Hasn't been able to hold, but didn't fade too badly or anything. The winner of the last one came back 4th in a grade 3 velocity. So again, didn't lose. Only lost by a length and a half to a horse that was able to move up and run. You see, ran in the Senorita there. So I just think that from a figure standpoint, from a pace standpoint, this one sticks out as one it's hard to leave off a ticket.
Yeah, this is the horse to beat. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You brought up great points. Everything I said, I agree with. I have no pushback. I just think she's going to be 7-5 possibly. And I'm going to go with D'Amato and Fraser here with Madonna of Loretto, not Madonna of, actually, I don't know where Madonna's from originally. East Coast, right? I think Madonna originally.
Yeah.
I don't know. This horse hasn't run since September, but was staked. And I think this horse has a lot of potential and a lot of upside. Has been working well, and I like the fact that the works have been fast, even over dirt. So I think they're trying to put a little more speed into this Caravaggio filly for a little red feather. I think the intent is there. I don't think she's going to be that far off of Sunglow, and this is sort of the fresh face that I want. You agree, I'm assuming, everything I just said.
Yep.
Because you have Madonna of Loretto in second.
First time Lasix too, and you'd figure D'Amato had some good stats off this layoff, so the layoff wasn't a concern. But yeah, I really like the works, like you said, and you're going first time at 3, which inexperience wise, that's a little bit of a question. Being on the rail, only third start against older, that's shaky. But there's not like they're older high quality horses.
I agree.
They're very beatable ones.
If this was 6, I would take Sung Lo for sure. I think actually half furlong might make a difference here for
Yeah.
Madonna. There's other interesting fresh faces like Arrow Garcia, who's a $450,000 arrogate out of a lemon drop kid mare for Tim Yakteen and Kimura. So that horse and Yakteen can get one ready. So horse could be
That one
interesting on the board.
That
There's a
one on
$400.
the real quick on the dam side, 4 out of 5 in the money, first time starters, and
Yeah.
4 out of 9 wins in turf sprints. So that was one where the sire side, the Arrogate side, isn't as great first out, but again, in a pretty weak field, you're looking at a $450,000 horse, but
Yeah.
not
And Mo
starting.
Maverick was a good turf sprinter in the
Yes,
family.
yeah.
Into the fray was not very good, but was quick early. I mean, so I wouldn't be surprised if this Arrogate filly, very interesting breeding, is 4-year-old already. I don't love that. Took a little time.
Yeah.
Sometimes these Arrogates just take time to get to the races and whatnot. There's a $460,000 Baffert horse. There's a Neil Drysdale horse on the
You had the
outside.
3. You didn't hit on the 3, right? You like the Auntie?
I mean, a little bit underneath. Auntie 385. I think McCarthy's going to move this horse up. Not move her up. I mean, she's always had her, but second off, the layoff will show speed. I don't think that horse is completely possible. It's a very interesting race. I still think 1 or 9 are very most likely to win, but if something else happens, wouldn't shock me, Pete. Let's go to our best bets for the late pick 4 Sunday on Preakness weekend at Santa Anita. You're going to go to race 8 with a win bet on the 8. Is that Nation?
Yeah, that's Nation.
And
Yeah.
you're going to play a $3 pick 3. You're going to go 8 with 239 with 12789 for $45. Interestingly enough, using 3 horses in race 9 and not using my top pick, who's that horse off the claim for Barosio. So
you know what I
interesting.
think you made a good point. I think I would probably add that horse, and because I had that horse was next for me anyway. So I hate to lose with a horse that we talked about on the show. Yeah,
how about you just do this? I mean,
yeah, no, I don't like it that
smart,
much.
man.
I don't like it that
Okay.
much. Yeah.
All right. I thought we would just do that. No. All right.
I'm not that big into singling and claiming 5s.
Right.
Claiming 5 isn't a race that I want to single in that much.
If you force my hand, I guess I'll put your top picks in if I have to. I mean,
the horse it's hard to single a horse that was 9th by 28, 8th by 7.
I mean, so demanding. Pete Visco,
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize, everyone. Again.
Anyway, he'll throw the 8 in. It only costs him another $15. I mean, we're gonna win thousands on Preakness Day anyway with our picks, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is just fun money at this point.
$15. My best bet also is a pick 3. How about that? In race 8, I'm gonna go 6, 8, 10. Nation will probably win. I don't know why I don't trust him. It's just a big field of maiden turf runners. I guess that's why. I could go 8, 8 with 1, 9 and really go cheap. Yeah. I'm gonna go 6, 8, 10. I'm gonna take my chances with the 8 and race 9 there off the claim. And I'm just going to use the 2 moto horses in the last leg and play a very cheap $18, $3 base pick 3 and try to crush it many times. Pete Visco, we got about 1 month left in the Santa Anita season. The Hollywood meet is what they call it. Big weekend next weekend, which will be discussed on the Pacific Horse Players show next Tuesday. They'll talk about the pick 5 and the stake races on Saturday for California Cup Day, because we always cover the late pick 4 on Sundays. Any final thoughts for the viewers and listeners, of which we have over 300 watching live right now, Pete? Thank you.
No, I think these have been fun, though. And I think one cool thing has been when you do this, because on our normal shows, we don't cover the same track repeatedly. So we don't always see the same horses. I think it's been cool over the course of this 20 shows that we've done now, where we see some of the same horses repeat. And that's fun. You get to follow them. You get to see sort of them move between, especially like the Northern California ones that have come down. We get to see them, and do they move to the right levels and things like that. I think that's just been fun and interesting. And I probably wouldn't have handicapped this late pick 4 as thoroughly if it wasn't for the show. And I'm glad I have. I've had some success with it. I think we have as a show.
We have.
So I think it's been very good. And I think it's a lesson too, because this is something I'm bad at, just following a meet and following,
Yes.
the same levels each week, which I don't do a good job of that in my everyday handicapping. So it's been good doing it for this sequence.
I do want to close out with one important thing, and I wouldn't normally mention this, but I sort of feel like now is a good time because we have a lot of people listening and watching right now. We are not contracted to stay with Santa Anita after this meet, not by our choice. We certainly very much appreciate the sponsorship by Santa Anita. So I'd like everyone to do us a favor. If you enjoy this particular show, especially if you're out in Southern California and you're watching this on the Santa Anita X channel, get in touch with Santa Anita, get in touch with their marketing department, get in touch with their media relations, get in touch with upper management and send a little a phone call or an email or whatever and tell them, look, the HHH Racing Podcast does a great job on YouTube promoting Santa Anita. I learn a lot. I've won some money or such, or whatever you'd like to say, or just anyone within the Santa Anita that's employed, and let them know, hey, let's re-up HHH Racing Podcast in the fall and winter, because we love to continue to do these shows, Pete. We think it's been very educational for people, and the last thing we want to do is be known as an organization or podcast that only focuses on Midwest and East Coast, because the fact is we do have many West Coast analysts on this podcast. I'm a big fan of California racing. I know they've had some issues right now economically, but if you're a fan of the show and you've enjoyed it, please let us know below the video player and comment on anything. But most importantly, not only hitting the subscribe button, but get in touch with Santa Anita and tell them, hey, let's re-up the HHH Racing Podcast for next fall and winter. For my wonderful co-host, Pete Visco, this has been your host, Howard Kravitz, episode 20 of Great Race Plays. We wish everyone much success at the Preakness, and of course, most importantly for this show, crush your bets in Lake Pick 4 Sunday at Santa Anita Park. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H Horse Racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.